Welcome to R&R, Relationships in Real Estate. I'm your host, Chris Silva, and this is my lovely wife, Corey Silva.
Thank you so much for that. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on R&R. Chris and I are the owners of Silva Realty, Silva Lending, and Silva Property Management, and we've been in the real estate and mortgage industry since the early 2000s. We're super excited to have you here on this last week of March. Thank you so much for always showing your support and joining us on this live show. We just couldn't do it without you, and you make the show that much better. So we are here. How is March still not over yet? This is like the longest month ever. Do you feel like that?
I don't. I mean, the days all blend to me anyway.
Right.
I appreciate a long month because the year's been going by way too fast. So I'm
real.
thankful for March being a little bit longer this year.
Yes, and officially, welcome to spring. We are now officially in spring, even though it doesn't feel like it with all this rain. This past Monday was the 20th, and it was the first official day of spring. So I just don't, I'm waiting for the sun to like peek out and stay for longer than like 10 minutes.
Right. It's still raining.
Yes.
It's raining today. I had no idea. I mean, I know we talked about the last show that spring started March 20th.
Yes.
I had no idea because it doesn't feel like spring.
No, it doesn't. So California is currently experiencing its 12th atmospheric river this year. I got to Google what that means. But it's ending a decade-long drought. And LA alone has had more rain than it usually gets all year long. That's pretty obvious.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes. So I know Chris loves the rain. How does everybody else feel about it? Are you guys kind of over it? Are you enjoying it? Embracing it before this hot summer comes?
You know, I've been seeing a lot of posts of
Yes.
people saying like, I'm done with the rain. It was nice. I'm over it.
Right.
They're not going to be saying that this summer when it's 110 degrees.
Yes,
And
everyone's going to be complaining about
We
how
need
hot
as
it is.
much rain as possible. I mean, I guess that's not true because we don't have anything to catch this rain,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I guess everything else from here on out is kind of overkill because almost all the lakes, the reservoirs that have been around for more than 50 years, they're pretty much at capacity right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Ooh.
It's awesome, but it'd be awesome if we had more reservoirs to catch more
Yes,
rainwater.
That would be great. Well, it's supposed to be nice and sunny this weekend, which I'm looking forward to, and then cloudy and drizzly through the end of the month until April. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be nice. Little change, coming in the weather soon. So some podcast related news. Our studio space is nearly complete. You all can't really see it here now, but we have some extra chairs, some lighting, some extra microphones, and we're preparing for our first guests that are going to be coming on the show. So are you excited about that?
I am super excited about that. So we've had guests before, but we had one camera, right?
Yes.
So if we had a guest, what did that mean? One of us weren't on the show,
Yes.
right? So you had Rena on the show.
Yes.
I've had Tony Price on the show, right? And it's going to be nice to have guests on the show, and we're all going to be together.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. It's going
I'm
to be
so
fun.
excited about it. It's going to be a great time. I think we're going to be able to share and highlight some people here in Santa Clarita that are amazing, and we're going to share that with our audience. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited about it. So any thoughts on who our first guest might be? Because I know we have some invitations out, but have you in your mind thought about who we're going to bring on first?
I would love. So I think after the show, we have to contact Urvashi because she said she would be a guest on our show. And it's just, I don't know if it works with her work schedule.
Right.
But if it does, I'd love to have Urvashi and maybe Chetan be the first guest on the show.
That would be amazing. Well, it looks like we have Tanya here with us. Hi, Tanya. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Tanya.
We had some fun this morning on our group text, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, we're super excited about who we're going to be having on the show. Additionally, we'll be accepting some sponsors. So if you want to advertise your business, please reach out to us, and we love to give you a shout out here on the show. So
That's going to be a lot of fun too. I'm excited for. I have some ideas of sponsors that I would like on the show because we're not just going to let anybody be a sponsor. It's going to be people that we back and we appreciate their business, and we think that they would do great with our clients as well, right?
for sure. That's what we always do. We're always trying to send out those recommendations of people that we trust. So.
Absolutely.
So also a heads up, the kids are getting out of school early next week because of spring break. So we will be picking up the kids early next week, and our show's going to start a little bit later, an hour later, and we're moving the day to Tuesday. So if you're watching right now, mark your calendars. The show, instead of Wednesday at noon next week, will be on Tuesday at 1 p.m. We'll send out a reminder too, but just wanted to give you the heads up, and maybe we'll have a little, sneak peek of some guests arriving on the show, aka Nola and Tino.
So maybe they'll officially be our first guests.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
That'd be so cute. So now, before we get into the show, this last week, Chris was able to take a bus ride to the Capitol. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and how it went?
Sure. So, of course, I haven't really posted too much about it. One of the reasons is there's not great reception on that bus ride.
Right.
We're going through the Grapevine. We're going through like Bakersfield, through Cow Country, like, Visalia, Tulare, Stockton, all these places. So, and plus I'm talking to people on the bus, right? We're
It's a
networking
networking event.
all the way up there. It was so much fun. So for people that don't know what it is, KHTS is the local radio station out here. It's the number one station. Carl Goldman and his wife Jerry are the owners of it. They started this 16 years ago.
Wow. So it's been going on for quite a while.
It's been going on for quite a while. And they started it with I believe a senator back then. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Before my time, before I was really into what's going on in Santa Clarita. But for the last 10 years, it's really been with Senator Wilk, Scott Wilk, who is almost done with his term. So we'll see if this bus ride continues. For sure, it's going to be next year because he's still going to be the senator.
Right.
Because he works hand in hand with Carl to put this on, right?
Okay.
So what it is 50 people in Santa Clarita that care about Santa Clarita,
Right.
Ride the bus. And this, there's school board members, there are business owners, there's people from different churches there. There's so many different groups of people there.
Right.
And Mayor Jason Gibbs, I met him on that bus ride 3 years ago when he was just a regular citizen like us, right? Before he ran for assembly. So city council. So anyhow, that was pretty cool. So you never know who you're going to meet on the bus. Oh, they also have students that go.
That's cool.
And they come
So
with the
get that
chaperone.
experience.
And they're from SCVI, which is a charter school. And that's pretty cool too. So there's a good blend. And once we get to the Capitol, right, we have meetings. We used to be in the Capitol. Now we're across the street in the Capitol room with the view.
Okay.
And that's really because of the COVID overlays from 2 years ago. And now they're remodeling the Capitol.
Oh, nice.
Well, something got tied up, so they put money into it, but it's all the construction stopped. I don't know what they're doing there. That's our
Why am I not surprised?
that's our
about
state's
that?
run, right? But
Let's
anyhow,
go spend some money and just kind of hold off and not finish it.
what's really amazing is Senator Scott Wilk's a Republican. He was a minority leader for a long time. Now these are local senators, right? So altogether, there's 40 of them. 32 are Democrat, only 8 are Republican. And what's really cool is he could just have nothing but Republicans come and talk to the audience. There's more Democrats that talk to us than Republicans, which how many other senators do you think would do that, right? Have a bipartisan
Meeting.
That's awesome because it's not about the party. It's about Santa Clarita. Right. So that's really neat. But there's a lot to talk about on there. One of the major ones that we just talked about is the rain, right?
Right.
The drought is over. Okay.
That's huge.
This is huge. I learned something really cool that I never knew before. And it's another reason why we love Santa Clarita so much. So everybody hears drought. And this is true. We've been in a drought a long time. And now with this weather that we have, we can have really wet years like this, but we can also have really dry years for years on end, 3, 4, 5 years. Unfortunately, we don't have the infrastructure. Neither this governor or governors in the last 20 years, 40 years really, have built any new infrastructure to capture rainwater.
Wow.
Whether that be underground reservoirs or above ground reservoirs. That's really scary.
I mean, that's our entire lifetime. If you put it in 40 years, that's almost our entire lifetime that California hasn't figured out a way to capture rainwater. Like, that's just mind-blowing to me.
Isn't it?
That's crazy.
So,
You need water, people.
This is common sense.
Crazy.
Right? Common sense.
Right.
But these are the people we put in office. And really what happens is environmentalists that tie up stuff in litigation because they don't want, they don't want to hurt any wildlife.
Do you really think that it's just environmentalists, though, that are tying it up and not getting reservoirs built? I think it's probably a combination of a lot of people.
It's not a sexy topic. Water,
I know,
right? Reservoirs.
But to just say like it's environmentalists holding it up, I don't think
well,
so.
That's what they're saying there.
I think that's what they're saying. That's what people say. Like,
right.
People put their agenda out there and put blame on other people. But like, if everyone just worked together, I think there's a way to figure it out instead of just putting the blame on environmentalists.
But, we can't say everyone. It starts at the top. It's the governor. Mm-hmm. So now it's Newsom. But before him, to be fair, it's always been a Democrat, except who do we have that wasn't a Democrat for 2 years?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
He only had two years to do it, but nobody has addressed this concern. Right. So I had the pleasure of talking to Gary Cooper, who's the head of SCV Water Agency here in Santa Clarita. I can't remember Bill's last name, but they're like the main guys. They're the godfathers of water, right?
Okay.
So they know everything about our water situation here in Santa Clarita. And what we always see people say is, "Oh, why are you building all these houses? We don't even have enough water for the residents that are here." Guess what? You are all dead wrong.
Really?
I found out. Now I asked him, "Are you being biased, Gary, or is this a fact?" He says, and he'll stand by it. Maybe we can get him on the show. I don't know. Let's says
get him on the show.
Santa Clarita has the best water situation than anybody else in any other city in California.
Oh, wow.
Why do you think that is? I was like, that can't be accurate. Really? Mm-hmm. He said, because of our geography, we are surrounded by mountains and we're in a valley, and we just happen to have the natural aquifers underneath the ground that have tons of rain, have tons of water in it.
Wow.
So I was like, huh. That's
really interesting.
He said if we didn't get any more water, that we have enough water to last us to 2050.
Wow.
And that's with all the construction that hasn't been done yet, but they've already factored those people living there. Mm-hmm. Like, all the stuff that's happening behind Magic Mountain. Right. It's supposed to be another like 10, 15,000 homes that are going to go up there. Mm-hmm. That's factoring that in.
Wow.
That we still have enough water till then. And obviously it's going to continue to rain between then. But we're in the best situation. So I'm like, maybe we need to invest in some more Santa Clarita real estate when everybody else is in deserts and we're the only ones that have water.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, if the zombie apocalypse happens,
everybody's coming here.
Yes. Well, we have Monica here with us today. Hi, Monica. She said, hello, friends. I missed you yesterday. Did the rain keep you away? I hope the girls are all feeling well and healthy. It was crazy yesterday, so I didn't get to see her at jiu-jitsu. Thank you so much for sharing all about the water situation. I know there's a lot of other topics that you're super interested in, but I have to tell you, while you were gone, these kids, they were sad. They were so sad. Chris was gone for literally like a day and a half, maybe almost 2 days, one night. And Santino was getting ready for bed, and he's like, I'm so excited. I'm so happy, but I'm a little sad. And I'm a little mad. I'm like, what is wrong?
Wait,
and
he was mad
like,
too?
He was like, I'm a little mad, but I'm a little sad. I'm like, why are you sad and mad? I just miss my dad. And then he looked like he was in a cry. And Santino is not the one who gets like that.
He's not.
His eyes started to like tear up. And I'm like, it's okay, baby. Daddy will be home tomorrow. And of all people, Nola was the one consoling Tino and said, I'm just trying not to think about it, Tino. Just don't think about it. He'll be home. It's okay.
She was the voice of reason?
Let's watch some American Idol. So for my friends who's, their significant others who work through the night or they have long shifts, like, are your kids like that too? Is that super challenging for you? Because these kids, I had to just keep reeling them back in and make sure that they were okay, that they weren't missing their daddy.
So I left Monday. Right. I got to hug and kiss the kids before I left.
Right.
Right. And they were both up. They were both awake. Mm-hmm. So it's not like they were sleeping. Right. And we FaceTimed a bunch. And I got back Tuesday night. So I wasn't gone for more than a day. And And then you said Nola cried the next morning?
So the next morning, Nola had to wake up early. Normally she sleeps in because she starts later in the day. And we were trying to wake her up, and she was just crying the whole time she woke up, just fussy. I'm like, are you okay? Do you feel all right? Like, tell me what's going on. Finally got it out of her. She's just like, I miss my daddy. I want my daddy. I was like, oh.
Poor baby.
I'm sorry, girl. I'm like, but let's just pull it together. You will see daddy later. Let's go. Let's start this day. Let's have a good time. Let's call him. Let's FaceTime him. So then she was okay with the FaceTime. Thank goodness she wasn't crying anymore after that.
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for holding it down, Mommy.
Of course. That's what I do. So Monica said, my girls have a hard time when Bobby gets home from work because they don't get to hug him and say our prayers together. Oh, that breaks my heart. Poor little babies. That means they got a good dad, right? That they're that close. So she said, oh, it's hard for the kiddos to be away from their parents. It is. It is. Luckily, they don't cry as much when they go to Grandma and Papa's house, right? Either that or Grandma and Papa just don't tell us because they don't want to make us feel bad.
Right. And the kid, I know Santino doesn't.
Yeah.
I think over there, that's when he's being strong for Nola.
Yes. He's holding it together for her.
He's holding together. I was really surprised by that. I didn't think Santino.
I know.
Because, I mean, for people that don't know, Santino is a mama's boy. I mean, he loves his mama, right? I mean, he loves me too, but, you know, if he has a choice, who is he going to cuddle? He's going to cuddle his mama.
Cuddled me this morning when he came in at like 4 a.m.
So, and Nola's really the daddy's girl that's hanging on me all the time, right?
Right.
So I would have expected it to be the other way around, but I mean, I guess she did cry the following day.
They missed you.
I missed you guys too. That's why I was FaceTiming every chance I got.
I know you were busy over there, but thank you for taking the time to reach out to us while you were gone. We appreciate that. We know you're working hard. So how was it volunteering in Nola's class last week? Speaking of kids, I know you finally got the opportunity, and it was at her request.
Right.
Daddy, when are you going to come to my classroom? So how was it? Tell us about these booger-nosed kids.
Well, I like that she called me out, right? I mean, we try to make that a point. I was actually talking to her about this morning is we can't read your mind. If you want something, you got to verbalize it.
Right.
You got to be vocal about it. We're not going to just guess what's going on in your brain. It's impossible.
Can't read your mind, girl.
Can't read your mind, girl. So she's getting better at that, where she's starting to ask for things instead of getting upset and internalizing everything, right? She's starting to speak her mind, which I love, right?
Maybe we're not teach them young, because
you got to build that confidence young, right? So when they do make requests like this, I got to make the time to show up, right? So luckily you already had those slots that basically I took one of your slots that you were already set to volunteer. And thank goodness Ms. Johnson's so cool because she was like, yeah, come on down, for sure. So anyhow, it was cool to be there. It's interesting, right? So I got a manna table and we made rainbows out of marshmallows, Fruit Loops, and pipe cleaner.
Chris got the fun thing. He got to do a craft.
Usually
I'm over here making kids rhyme and write things. I mean, yes, we play games, but I always get some pushback from some of these kids. Did you get pushback?
I got a little bit of pushback. So,
it wouldn't be a day in a kindergarten class without a little bit of pushback.
For sure, if I was a teacher, I think the kids would look at me as like the mean teacher. I'm not mean, but like, I'm also not going to take no slack from these kids, right?
Wow.
I'll just let them know, like, all right, first thing I need you guys to do is wipe your hands. I had little wipies because I'm trying to keep it sanitary for the rest of the kids who are coming in. These kids are putting their hands in these Fruit Loops and then they're touching their face. You know what I mean? So
you're cringing the whole time?
I wasn't cringing. I was just more worried about myself and our daughter. But
everybody else, you get sick just as long as she doesn't get sick. Oh my goodness. So Monica said, OMG, Chris sounds like it was fun at your volunteer. I'm like Corey, always teaching the kids sight words or math. Laugh out loud. Never fun activities. Right? How did he get like the fun thing? Like, let's go make a rainbow.
So it was cool, right? So the teacher had a rainbow.
Yes.
What's the color?
So Chris has no idea for some reason, and the kids can't wrap their heads around this. He never learned the colors of the rainbow. How did you not learn that?
Who cares? I probably did learn it at some point.
I mean, if you're an artist, you know
it's like
things.
Useless information in my brain.
That is not useless.
In my brain, it is. Why do I need it? Why do I need it? It's like
Color patterns, opposites, complementary colors. Did you ever learn that?
no.
Okay, yeah. He has no clue. So it's Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue,
Yeah, see. And
violet, indigo, violet.
you've told me that many times and I listen,
But
but
it's in one ear and out the
I've
other.
already forgot what you said. It's already out of my brain, right?
So not only does he get the fun project, but he doesn't even know the colors of the rainbow. Were you looking back on the sheet to
No,
reference?
she had already built one.
Oh,
The
okay,
teacher already
good.
built one,
Thank
so
goodness.
I had the colors in front of me, right? And our daughter's artistic. So she was she was my first child, that group.
Right.
So she kept it on point. She's really artistic. She loves the colors of the rainbow, drawing rainbows, doing all that. So she helped me out the first one, right?
Good.
And I
You
had to make
needed
sure
that.
all the kids were doing it the right way.
Right.
So, step by step, I just had to have the process. Clean your hands, kids. I had little paper towels for them so they make a big mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to dangle that fruit in front of them, which was, if you guys get this done, and they had a worksheet afterwards, and you get your worksheet done, you get to eat some of the Fruit Loops.
Oh.
They're like, wow. And you could see the little kids trying to sneak them. I'm like, you didn't earn that Fruit Loop, kid. You gotta do the work first, and then you get the prize, right?
Yes.
So of course there was like 2 kids that snuck Fruit Loops,
Always at least 2.
and then there was one kid,
It's not even 1, it's 2.
right? But there was only one kid that didn't want to follow the color scheme, right? The pattern. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it like that. I'm not going to fight a 5-year-old kid or a 6-year-old kid. I was like, hey, you live your best life, buddy.
You do what you gotta do.
You do what you got to do. If you want all purple or all blue, you make it happen. Whatever you want. Because he was not going to listen to me
Definitely
anyway.
have to choose your battles when it comes to kindergarten class.
I conceded that battle real quick. I was like, you go right ahead. But it's funny because after everybody was done, Miss Johnson would come and take a picture.
Yes.
So she took group pictures with everybody's done. That kid was the only one that his rainbow was not a rainbow. Yeah. It looked like a cloudy day. His thing was falling apart. And I'm like, I told her, I was like, he didn't want to listen to me. She's like, oh, I know.
He was the only one with the storm left over. So Monica said, Chris, I don't blame you not knowing the colors. I don't remember all and have to Google. Laugh out loud. That's funny.
There you go.
That's funny. So you're not alone.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So anyhow, it was fun. I'll do it again.
Yes.
I'd love to volunteer in Santino's class because I haven't been in his class for
Right.
an event. But my understanding is his teacher doesn't really need the help.
She doesn't need help, only at parties. So the next party, we'll make sure that you're included.
I want to be there for sure.
Yeah, we haven't had that many parties this year. She's kind of been holding it down. So this past weekend, the kids and I, speaking of kids, got to go to Brielle and Audrey. They're our nieces. They had a dance competition in Redondo Beach. And wow, dance is so competitive, let me tell you. I don't know if there's any parents out there who have their children in dance, but let me just tell you, I'm very grateful that Nola is not interested in doing it.
Thank the Lord.
Because there is a huge commitment on the parents' behalf, in addition to the kids. Like,
right.
They have to absolutely love it if they're going to want to be doing that. And kudos to my sister-in-law. I don't know how she does it. She was there all weekend. She was there Friday morning, Saturday all day, Sunday all day. I'm like, and she's a full-time, she works full-time as well. So I'm like, how did you do this? How do you make this happen? And it's like, she just goes above and beyond for her daughters because they absolutely love it. So kudos to you, Lindsay. I don't know how you do it. It's very competitive, not only with the dancers, but some of these moms, woo, Lord, you could just feel like the tension there.
Really?
Yes. Some of them are very competitive, I think they're like really living it out through their kids is what I gathered. But man, these girls are good. They're really good. I'm blown away. I can't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand it.
I don't understand it.
I mean, I don't like, I'll just, I can't really speak on the dance stuff because our kids are not in dance. Right. But like, any sports our kids wish to do right now, they've been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time. Right. I'm not the type of parent that's going to push them to get into a tournament. Mm-hmm. Right. I just want them to have fun, have some structure, meet some good friends, right? Like be busy, right? Well, productively be busy though, right? And like the chances of being a professional dancer or a professional athlete, like it's so minute to be.
I feel like nowadays, dancing wise, they have so many more opportunities, say, compared to like when we were kids, because dancing's huge now. You could get a job in a lot of things doing dancing. So I get it. She's really good. Brielle's really good.
No,
and
I know
so is Audrey.
she is amazing.
Yes,
I get that.
And so is Audrey. She's really good too.
I get that. But you know, a lot of these kids, what happens is, and I'm not talking about our nieces, but like our professor told us this.
Mm-hmm.
He told me before, hey, because Santino did a tournament when he first started, when he first got into jiu-jitsu. He was like maybe 4 years old.
He
I
was
don't know.
4.
He's 4 years old. And it was cute, right, to see him. And it was scary too. And
it wasn't cute. I was scared. You guys, when we went to this competition, it was the first time I've ever been to a jiu-jitsu competition. And there was little kids, if you can imagine. I'm like, oh, cool. They're going to go have fun like in class. Some of these kids had mouth guards that had like little sharp teeth with like little blood dripping off of it. Like these kids were no joke. They were in it to win it. And I was thinking to myself, did we just send our kid into the lion's den? Like, what's going to happen to him? I was a little scared and intimidated. But also I'm like mama bear, very protective.
Right.
He held his own. He
did a great job.
He did a great
especially
job.
for his first time and doing all that. But he hasn't done one since, right? And I don't know, like I don't care for him to be like some UFC champion one day.
Well, a lot of these kids, they're training like all the time and they're homeschooled. So
right.
that's
they're training like 4 hours a day.
Yes.
And those are the people that he'd probably be in competition with, which is fine. Like he's really good as well and he could hold his own. But like, I don't know, that stuff, it doesn't get me super excited to be like, oh, I don't need to brag about my kid doing some athletic thing. I more brag about him because they're so sweet and carried, kind.
I feel like if they want to do it, of course we're going to embrace it.
Of course.
And I always ask him like, hey, do you want to do it? Because Professor was telling us Santino would do really good at this competition. Do you want to enroll him? He's just like, no. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to force it. But I get it. A lot of these kids really love it. They thrive off of that.
No, which
so
is
they
great.
Want to do it.
Which is great. But I'm not one that's going to like
really
push it. But you know what? I do have to mention to Santino and Nola, your dad asked me when I dropped them off for our date night. Your dad asked me, or when we were picking them up, hey, do the kids ever compete? Because I want to go see them if they do.
Really?
Yeah, so
that's
maybe if we tell the
good.
kids that, maybe they'll want to compete.
Maybe that would be cool. That would be fun.
You're gonna freak out all over again.
I have to say though, going to their competition, I had a good time, and I want to go keep supporting them because I feel like these kids, they're really putting their all into it. They need to have that extra support, have their family there cheering them on. So
Absolutely.
It was fun. It's a lot of fun. So that same day, Chris and I had a little date night. We got to go out and celebrate our friend Mahmoud and Dina's birthday. So we went to West Hollywood and had dinner, which was nice because we haven't been out there. And I don't remember how long, like since way before kids. I was like, wow, I forgot what it's like.
Was it before kids? We went, the last time we went to that oh yeah, we were vegan.
Ooh, that vegan Italian spot was delicious. It was so good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had kids after that. That was the last time we were in West Hollywood.
That was a long time ago.
Yes. I want to go back to that restaurant. It was so good. Delicious.
Yeah.
You told me it was the best lasagna you've ever had.
But I was also starving, right? Like I was vegan for I don't know how long. I was hungry. I was skinny. And it was like the best food I had in a long time. They did a good job. But now if I have a choice, like, you save that for the rabbits. I don't need that vegan food. I'm good.
You need to stop. He makes it seem like he was so miserable.
Rough time. It was a rough period of my life.
You're too much. You are too much. So after we had dinner in West Hollywood, we ended up going out to a comedy show at the Comedy Store. What's the name of the place?
Yeah, I don't remember, but
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm wondering like why we don't go to comedy shows more often.
We need to go because that's for sure my vibe. I had a great time. You know,
who doesn't like laughing?
I don't know, but you know, they were all really different.
Yes.
Which is cool, right? Completely different humor.
Right.
The first person that we saw was an Indian guy, right? He was like one of my favorite ones, and we didn't catch his whole set.
Because we got there a little
He was
late.
hilarious.
He was really funny. And traditionally, like when you go and watch a comedy show, usually they have like the openers who are kind of all right, and then they build up to like the best one, that like the headliner that is going to be showing that day. But it didn't kind of work out that way, did it?
No, for me, he wasn't. I don't know if he was the funniest one, but he was definitely one of the top 2 funniest people, in my opinion. He had said something about because we have Indian friends and they're brown like us, right?
Right.
So he said something like on his 15th birthday, his parents had to sit him down and talk to him and break it to him that he wasn't Mexican.
Because he grew up in Arizona, and he said all there was like white and Mexican people. So he thought he was Mexican until he was 15, Mexican. Which is really funny.
He said he found out at his quinceañera. He found out.
Yeah, he was super funny. There was a good mixture, but yeah, I was a little disappointed at the end. I think to be a successful comedian or you have to like engage with the entire audience, right? And be like relatable in some way that isn't going to offend everybody. That's just me. I know you really like offensive comedy.
What?
Like, it's okay for you. Like, we had this conversation after the show with our friends. Like, wow, that one guy, he really wasn't, he wasn't very culturally sensitive. Like, he was saying some offensive stuff. Sure. And for me, like, I don't think that's funny. It's not funny to me. So then I'm just going to stay quiet. Like, it actually makes me a little uncomfortable. I don't like it at all.
Tell me how you really feel. So, look, funny is funny.
Okay.
To me, funny is funny.
Right.
Now, it's one thing if you go out of your way as a comedian to be offensive, right? Because there were plenty of insult comics that were huge in the 80s and 90s, right? Maybe early 2000s. The most recent offensive insult comic that I remember is Lisa Lampanelli.
Oh, she was just like gross.
Yeah, she's a Jewish lady that her whole skit was she loves the blacks. That's her voice and what she would say, and that was her whole skit, right? And she would talk about use all the offensive words of every race. She's very vulgar, and back then it worked, and she built a career off of that. And then something happened, and it was no longer found funny. She was okay. She was never one of my favorite comedians or anything, but that was more the norm back then. You can get away with that stuff. That's not my humor.
Right.
But I think that comedians have it so tough nowadays because there's so many sensitive groups out there, and they're going to hurt this person's feelings and that person's feelings, and they got to worry about getting canceled for some joke that they made. Like, I like that the rules in that place where, hey, you can't record these guys.
Right.
That's kind of their lab of where they get to test their craft on a live audience, right? And see what works and what doesn't work and kind of test their comedy. But it should be their safe place. Like, I'm sorry, you should be able to make a joke. And if somebody gets their feelings hurt, hey, change the channel.
Well, that's the thing.
Keep scrolling.
I don't think it was like feelings hurt, but I'm just like, that's not funny. Like, to me, that's not funny.
No, it was so the joke that you're talking about is this comedian, and this guy had been around for like 50 years.
Right.
Right? He had opened up for like Frank Sinatra.
I think it was time for him to retire.
It's time.
It was time.
So look, I don't have a problem with the joke, and he made a Muslim joke, right?
Right.
About wanting to die so he could be with like 42 virgins or whatever it was. It wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny.
Now, it might have been funny, and he might have got a laugh in a different audience 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Maybe it was funny then, but it just wasn't funny, right? And I think if it was funny, I don't think it would have offended anybody.
Right.
But it just wasn't. Forget about being in good taste. He didn't deliver the humor.
Right. There wasn't anything funny.
And so anyhow, so again, I'm okay with offensive jokes. Like people make Mexican jokes all the time. I grew up with no money. So like me and my friends, you know what we did for fun at sleepovers?
You would make fun of each other.
We would make fun of each other.
I know. Do you remember the dozens?
The what?
The dozens?
No, what's the dozens?
Oh, so it was like the thing, like where you're bagging on people all the time. And then they have the dozens. It's like a whole thing on like how people just talk about your mama jokes, basically. Oh, Lulu's here with us. Hey, Lulu.
Hey, Lulu.
So yeah, anyways. But yeah, that's just me. We had this whole debate about like what's funny and what's not. So anyways, we had a good time overall, but yeah, there's some things where I'm just like, you ain't funny.
Yeah,
it's
but
really quiet.
I would
You're
like
not
to
funny.
I would love to be realistic. I'd love to go once a month. That's not realistic. I'd like to go like 3 more times this year.
Yes. Who wants to go to a comedy show with us and have a good time? Because I'm ready. I'm ready to go again.
That was a
It's a good
lot of
date
fun.
night.
And you know what? It's a cheap night.
Yes.
We spent like $50 each on, so $100 on dinner.
Right.
That's what you're gonna pay at California Pizza Kitchen. We pay $100
Right.
with the kids, right? And they're eating mac and cheese. And I don't know what were the tickets to that
It
comedy
was
show.
only $25 a
That's
ticket.
it?
But you had to have a 2-drink minimum. So that's where they got you, is on the drinks.
Whatever.
Whatever.
You got to pay for drinks anywhere you go.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's totally fine. But I would love to go once a month. Is too much, but like once a quarter, I'd have so much fun. I really, really enjoyed myself.
Yes, it was so much fun.
I
It
think
was
we
a nice
found something
change.
else. We found something else to do.
Yes, for sure. So the next day, I got to go out for brunch with my friends, my mommy friends, and we celebrated Nicole's birthday. So Nicole, if you're watching, happy birthday again. We had a great time. You know what I love? Like when friends are so thoughtful on their own birthdays and leave out like little party favors for you. Like, thank you for coming to celebrate me. Like, you don't have to do all that, but she did. It was so
Oh, that's
sweet.
very sweet of her.
Yeah, she left us little candles and stickers, and I had a good time with my mom friends. Like, I met these ladies when we were all struggling, when we're in the trenches with newborns for the first time, right? Learning how to breastfeed and going through that crazy chapter in our life, and we've all stayed friends since. So I had a good time with
Now,
them.
do you girls call your group the same thing that the dads call your group?
Well, we were called the boob group. Is that what you guys call us?
And the titty committee. So
I've never heard that.
so that's what the dads call
That's
it.
so funny. Who came up with that?
Oh, I don't know. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you unless it was me.
Oh, wow.
Can't be throwing people under the bus. That's dad code, right?
That's funny.
I honestly, I just don't remember.
Right.
But that's so cool that you ladies met at lactation class. Like you were
Yes.
going through the same struggles.
Yes.
And then to stay friends that long, that's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
It's hard to make good friends. You know? Like it's really hard to make good friends.
Right.
So I'm happy for you ladies that you have each other.
Yes, we do. So we had a good time.
You girls have a diverse group too.
I know, I love it.
It's like, yeah.
We were at her brunch. Not everyone was able to make it, but she had a bunch of her other friends there. So, and I got to meet some of the ladies who are going to that Janet concert. So it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, the one that you never told me about. That one.
Sorry, I did tell you. I just didn't tell you until way after.
It just was never in the calendar.
So because we're so busy on the weekend, we ended up moving family dinner to Sunday. We had an early dinner since the kids have school the next day. And Chris switched things up. He was throwing it down in the kitchen. He made burgers for everyone.
You know, so I came through that weekend, you know, a little pat on my back. So our family didn't know they weren't coming over on Saturday, and you forgot to send that out because we were busy.
I know. I felt so bad.
So luckily I took care of that. And I talked to my brother Patrick, and I was like, hey, can you guys come over tomorrow? He's like, yeah, no problem. Luckily, his kids started spring break this week.
Right.
So it worked out that we did Sunday. But because you had a lot going on, I was like, hey, are you cool with just eating some burgers? I'll make some burgers on the grill, call it a day. And he's like, yeah. So I forgot to take the meat out, of course, because we have a deep freezer now, which is amazing. But if you forget to take the meat out, like, you got to take it out the day before at least.
Right.
I mean, it's rock hard in there, right? So he did me a solid, and he picked up meat for me, and I gave him the frozen one to take home.
Right.
Right. So anyhow, yeah, we threw it down. It was cool because my brothers stepped up. They helped out. I'm all making sure. Do you guys wash your hands? I'm making sure everybody was sanitary, right? And I made burgers with bacon, caramelized onions. So good. So I don't know how many burgers, but Corey decided not to have a burger. Like she never had a burger in her life. She eats burgers.
I don't eat meat usually, like
Girl, you
burger
eat meat.
I don't eat burger meat. That's not my cup of tea. Like,
Okay.
and you know that. And I was like, so you're gonna make me some chicken?
Right. You had to be extra.
I'm not extra. I mean, I'm not going to eat a burger. You know I don't eat burgers. Well, I don't know why you were so surprised by that. And you know Jocelyn doesn't eat meat either. She doesn't eat cows. So
Yeah, well, sorry to tell you, but I don't cook chicken. I don't know how to make chicken. I wasn't going to mess up chicken or stress out about it. So I was like, hey, how about we just get some chicken? You guys can handle it. But anyhow, everybody that did eat.
So I made my own chicken. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now you're upset about me cooking.
I'm not upset. I said thank you. I appreciate you making everybody burgers. But you were the one who just brought up right now about how I didn't want to eat your burger. It was clear. I made it very clear that I don't eat burgers.
Well, okay. I'm going to remember this. The next time you eat a burger, I'm going to take a picture of it.
Okay, you do that.
You're going to eat a burger one day.
All right.
Anyhow, so it was bomb, though. Everybody had 2 burgers, and they were big. And I'm not going to post it because I'm not. I wouldn't do that to my brother, but I did post it in our group, our little family text. Man, my brother was passed out on the couch from that burger. He was feeling good. Everybody's telling me he was full. Everybody was like, just out. So it was a success. I got to figure out what I can make. I'm not a chicken guy. I don't know how to cook chicken, and I'm not trying to learn how to cook. I don't even like the taste of chicken.
So like, because he doesn't like the taste of chicken, and I'm not even trying to learn how to make chicken. Like you're on your own. You're out on this island. This is family dinner. You're gonna go do your own thing.
You eat bacon. You could have had a BLT.
Monica said, "Thank you for making." Oh, she put OMG. I'm laughing. Thank you for making me the chicken, Chris. Tanya's laughing too.
You could have had a BLT, girl. You decided you didn't want to eat that stuff.
No, I didn't want that.
It's all good. Yeah.
I had some chicken instead. It's really simple. You just put some seasoning on it and you throw it on the pan and then you flip it.
Yeah. Again, I'm not a chicken person, so
okay.
So I don't know.
Right,
we'll move along from this.
Let's move along, Chicken Little. So the week was started off just right. I started this week off bright and early at Orange Theory, and I got to see 2 of my girls there. Yes. Congratulations on waking up at 4 a.m. and being at the gym at 5. I got to see Val, and I got to see Shanae, and we got our workout on, and it feels so good to like start my week off that way.
So this is how many weeks now have you been doing Orange Theory?
Has it been a month? It's been a month.
Really? Mm-hmm. This is your 4th week?
It's my 4th week.
Friday will be 8 classes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I love it.
I think this will be a month that I haven't worked out at all.
That's not true. You went to the jiu-jitsu one of the days.
It was like a couple weeks ago, like one time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I got to figure out. I got to start taking care of myself.
Well, you said that they're adding another class. That's going to be early in jiu-jitsu on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you're just going to have to hit that up.
Yeah, it starts, I think, the end of the first week of April.
Okay. And that's right around the corner. My mom's here. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mama.
She said, hi, honeys. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. Thank you again for watching the kids this past weekend. We had a great time when we went out.
It's a big deal. We really appreciate you, Ma. Just because it's look, the other people that I probably trust with our kids are our siblings, right? Mm-hmm. But they're busy.
Yes,
and then
busy.
And then I don't think our kids would feel comfortable spending the night unless it's with Grandma and Papa or us.
Or Brielle and Audrey.
Maybe Brielle and
Lindsay
Audrey.
and Alan's house.
Yeah.
They love going over there. When are we going to have another sleepover?
Right.
So, yes.
But I remember Tanya and Patrick watched. This is a while back.
Yes.
But Patrick said like Nola cried for like 2 hours straight.
That was like 2 years ago.
Still though, it's traumatic.
Poor baby. So my mom says that makes me happy. Yeah. We talked about this a little bit on the last show, how you said, when you guys move, the kids aren't going to want you around anymore. And we want you around. So don't move. I'm going to put that guilty thing out there, give you that mom guilt to not move away.
Well, on top of that, I think that we should have a ton of sleepovers, Grandma, before they move. Like there needs to be a ton of sleepovers where the kids get to stay with Grandma and Papa often.
Yes.
Before they leave, so that we make some more memories.
For sure.
And we're going on vacation together, which is going to be awesome because Nola's old enough now that she'll remember that as well.
Yes. It's going to be nice. So speaking of the kids, Tino and Nola, Santino's been teaching us a little bit about the International Space Station, which I'm very oblivious to. I don't even know when it came about. Why do I not know these things? I think because during our time when we were in school, it didn't exist. So I don't really know much about the International Space Station. But Santino's like, oh yeah, ISS. And he's telling me all about it and how big it is and all about gravity. He's learning all this stuff. This must be like this block he's learning about in school. But I love when I learn stuff from our kids, like see things through their eyes, right?
Right.
So
yeah, we talk about that stuff. And the reason you don't know about it is because when we ask him how was school, did you learn it? He's like, good. He doesn't want to talk about it. So you got to just catch him whenever he does get in that mode where he just wants to keep talking,
Yes.
just keep feeding into that and asking him the question so he keeps going, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, see, like some of the stuff, I know this stuff because I read articles on it because it's interesting, right?
Right.
Science.
It's very interesting.
I like to know about it. So I know some of this stuff when I'm talking to him. And to me, that's useful information, not the
Yes.
colors of the rainbow.
Wow.
I'm just
Wow.
those are the kind of things that I remember.
So that's how it's going to go down today.
What do you mean?
Okay. What do you mean? What do
I'm
I
just
mean?
letting you know how my brain works. Like these are the type of things that stay in my brain, but like I won't rainbows don't sorry. I love rainbows, they're nice looking, but I just don't know all the colors that are in them.
Okay. So I'm not really sure. Let's reel that back in and get back to the space station now. No? Okay.
Well, anyhow, of course he was talking about, they have to pee into this tube and then they gotta, but if they just pee in the air, the pee would be floating in the air. Did you know that? And then Nola has to take it to the next level. And she's like, yeah, what if you have your mouth open and it gets in your mouth? I'm like, dang, girl. She always has to go there with the pee and the poop.
Yeah, she just does that. It's gross. I'm like, oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. So anyways, yesterday after jiu-jitsu, the kids and I went on a shopping spree at the grocery store. And I don't know about all of you all, but do you like taking your kids shopping with you, whether it's grocery shopping or going clothes shopping or Costco shopping? I know some of us don't have like the luxury and we have to take the kids with us all the time, but I try to do those type of things when they're at school so I don't have to drag them along with me, just because I feel like it takes longer to get through a grocery store or to run a simple errand. It ends up like you got to get them out of the car. It's raining. There's a lot going on. But I think I'm starting to embrace taking the kids to the grocery store because at our grocery store, they have like little mini carts that the kids could push around. So Nola likes to push the cart, which is great. I don't have to push the cart. She gets to put all the stuff in there. And her and Santino were all about it yesterday. On a normal day after jiu-jitsu, I'm like, let's hurry up and get home. I need to cook. We got to get you ready for bed. But yesterday I was like, oh, I don't even think we have food in the house right now. So we have to go to the grocery store. So we went, and these kids, they're just like loving it. The downside to taking them shopping is they wanted all kinds of crazy snacks that I normally wouldn't buy for them. So
they had powdered donuts. I was like, when did we start getting powdered donuts?
Listen, you are the one who bought those powdered donuts last week. I did not buy those. Yes, and Nola got you to buy those. But I did come home with blueberry muffins.
Oh, the chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies. I was like, what is going on here with all these treats they want? Tino wanted some like chocolate muffin things for his lunch. I think because their little friends take that. So they wanted that. I'm like, I came here for strawberries and bananas and some veggie corn dogs for dinner. Like I left spending like, I don't know how much money, 2 little shopping carts full of stuff.
Ralph it's expensive. I'd never leave there without spending at least $80. And I only have 2 bags every time.
Right.
I go there for this, like the stuff that we run out of Costco for, right? Like that's the in-between Costco. I stopped by Ralph's a couple times.
Yes. Well, Monica said, I do like taking them because if I have extra stuff, I just say the kids wanted these snacks. Laughing. Don't get questions.
That's funny.
Just blame it on the kids. They're the ones who wanted it.
Throw them under the bus, Monica.
Oh, my goodness. But it is good. I mean, I guess my whole thing is, aside from it taking a long time, I just know there's a lot of creeps out there, and I don't really like taking the kids out shopping because there's some weird people out, but I do know that they have to go and get that experience so they could go shopping on their own later in life.
Exactly. That's what I was that's what I was thinking this whole time is, we're really good about at home, especially I know you spend so much time like whether it's cooking or cleaning, a lot of parents lose their patience. They're like, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Right. Because they want it done fast.
Correct.
But then their kids are useless, right? They don't know how to do anything. Right. Seriously.
Because they do everything for them.
Because you hear all these these people complain about this generation of kids that don't know how to do anything. It's because their parents did everything for them, right? You got to give them responsibilities if you want them to learn stuff. So, hey, same thing with shopping. Like,
yes.
I love taking the kids to Costco. Like, I take them with me. Nola likes to stand on the cart and hold on to dear life. At the end, her hands are shaking because she's so tired of holding onto the cart.
So she got her workout in.
And then sometimes I'll let Santino push, but it's crazy in there, so not all the time, And then I like to take them to like the little book section. They usually have toys there. And just, if they want something, they can get it. But they usually don't get anything when I go with them.
No, usually they don't.
But they do want to, they'll remind me like, oh, you got to get croissants, Dad. Like the basic stuff we always get.
Yes.
And then, of course, the Madeleines, the cookies. They
All
love
the little
that section.
sweets. Oh, boy.
That's their favorite section.
I think my favorite part of the grocery store when you take them is the produce section, because you get to show them how to pick out a good piece of fruit or a good piece of like vegetable. You don't want to get them they had some rotten onions out there. I'm like, girl, don't buy that. Don't get that. And they're always fighting to try to get the bags open. So it's cool to like show them like how to pick a fruit or a vegetable, because some people don't know.
Plus, by the time they start shopping on their own, they're not going to have baggers and checkers anymore. So Nola likes to scan everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, it took like an extra 5 minutes because I let her scan every little single thing. But hey,
that's
she's
all right. She
figuring it
got
out.
the experience.
She was figuring it out. She had a good time.
Oh, my goodness. So switching things up to real estate, did you see that the old Realty Execs building was torn down the last few days? That's crazy.
I didn't notice it.
For all the people who live in Canyon Country or who've grown up in Santa Clarita, we know that's been there. It's like a landmark, right? They've got the little, it's like a little baby tower with the temperature gauge, where before, when you didn't have the temperature reading in your car.
Or on your phone.
On your phone, that's where you would see what the temperature was for the day, and the time was there. And it's crazy that they tore that thing down, because that's where Chris and I went when we bought our first house. We went to that Realty Executives building. Back then they didn't have Redfin or Zillow or any of these options where you could go online to find out, where you want to buy your house. You actually had to walk into a real estate office. So they tore it down. A little piece of history torn away.
Ma says they're still bulldozing in the rain.
They are ready to get rid of that thing. Do you want to know what they're going to put there?
Don't tell me a Starbucks.
Yes.
I knew it. Drive-through Starbucks for sure.
Drive-through Starbucks, even though there's one right across the street.
But it's not drive-through.
They're getting rid of that one, and they're going to have a drive-through there.
Of course.
That intersection is so crazy already. Why would they think that that's a good spot to put it? Do you know how many people do U-turns and cause accidents right there?
Ooh, I'm going to stop
Lord.
driving that intersection.
Yeah, avoid it.
From coming down from Via Princess, I'm going to go the other way.
Yes.
Down Sierra Highway, down Soledad. That's going to be the better way to go.
It's going to be crazy.
When I go to Mama's house.
That intersection, that's where we got in a car accident way back in the day. Monica said, we don't need any more Starbucks. We really don't need any more Starbucks.
I'm such a
Coffee
latte.
snob.
I'm a latte snob because I don't really drink coffee. I
Yes.
drink lattes. Being out at the Capitol, we had a Starbucks inside the hotel, and I'm like, I'm not drinking that garbage. I wouldn't drink it, and I needed coffee real bad. I just had the regular coffee.
Yes. I mean, if that's the option. So Monica already said we don't need any more Starbucks. And my mom said, glad it's not In-N-Out. Oh, my gosh.
That'd be worse.
The traffic.
But you know what they do need on that side of town?
What?
Chick-fil-A. They need a Chick-fil-A. I have
need
a
a
bone to
Chick-fil-A.
pick with a Chick-fil-A. So for whatever reason, the day that I crave Chick-fil-A is always Sundays. And they're not open.
It's the day of the Lord.
It's the day of the Lord. But let's get back on topic on this Realty Execs building, because
Yes.
we did back then, like you were saying, you didn't have all these different avenues to look up property as a
Right.
consumer. You had to depend on your real estate agent. That's back when I looked forward to getting my car washed because you had all the Homeland magazines,
Yes.
and you got to see all
got to see all the agents with their stuff posted up while you're at the car wash.
their prom pictures on their cards.
Yeah,
right?
their
And
glamour
business cards,
shots
their
with the
glamour shots.
boas.
And they all had feathered hair, right? Yeah, I think the first two houses that I bought, I got taken advantage of, right? And that's part of why really I got into real estate. So when I was 19, I bought my first condo, and it was a Spanish agent that my mom knew or whatever. And the guy totally ripped me off. I bought a $72,000 condo, and somehow I had $10,000 in closing costs.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
He did my loan. He did real estate, right? Totally ripped me off. Anyhow, and then fast forward to when we bought a property together, we were 23?
23.
23?
Well, we're 22.
22, yeah, because we got married at 23, right?
Yes.
So we were 22 years old.
No, we got married when we were 24, babe.
Whatever. it all blends now. But anyhow, we walked into this place because we didn't know where to go.
That's what you do.
You just walk
There's
into
a
an
real
office.
estate office right there on the corner that
Imagine
I've been passing by like
your whole life.
Not my whole life, but my
10 years at least.
my teenage life, right? Since we moved to Santa Clarita.
Right.
So we went in there and we had a team helping us, 2 ladies. And I feel like they probably only showed us realty executive listings.
They did. No, it's not probably only. I remember that's all they did show us.
That was the norm.
I was like, man, they have every house on the market.
Right.
But those are the only houses they showed us, right?
Right.
And who knows what else we could have bought?
I mean,
Who knows if we overpaid? Who knows any of that stuff?
I mean, that's why they had appraisals, but who knows? That's a crazy.
But that was back in the wild, wild west where appraisers were getting manipulated
Right.
and the value always came in
Yes, that's
because
true.
the lender picked the appraiser.
That's true.
This is before appraisal management companies that we'll explain that another time.
Right.
But this is when like anything went.
Yes.
Anything goes at that point, right? So I don't know. That experience wasn't the best. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best. We just wanted to be homeowners and we are like, we're gonna
Yes.
go buy a house. But in hindsight, it would have been nice if we would have bought something in Valencia or maybe moved to Stevenson Ranch at the beginning, maybe in a condo in Stevenson Ranch, right? But we didn't even know that was available to us
Right.
because they only showed us their listings and, that's what we bought.
Right.
2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, 900 square feet.
Wow. Our very first home with dog doo-doo left behind.
Yeah. So there was poop in the master bedroom. Remember that?
That was lovely. It was such
Dried
a
up
nice,
poop.
It was such a nice housewarming gift left behind. Little poo-poo platter.
I can't even remember these agents because I would call them out. What kind of agent leaves dog shit for the buyer? Like they should go in the house first. This is what I do. So we have our friends Priyanka and Dewal, right? I sold them my house. I'm not going to call out the agent, but it's a local agent,
Okay.
right? They were actually like on vacation, so
Yeah. So it wasn't
it wasn't necessarily their fault,
their
right?
fault. Yeah.
But the sellers left the house a mess. And there was a bunch of trash on the side of the yard. It was a disaster. And I got there early and I walked in the house and I was like, oh, there's no way. I just worked for months and months to find them the right house. And this is going to be their memory of the first time they walked through their door.
That's always the worst.
So I remember I come outside and I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys, you can't go inside there. Who tells a buyer that? But luckily they didn't have a moving truck outside, right? And they're like, why not?
Sometimes it just ends up that way. People want their keys right then and there, and you
Right.
just go with it.
We
You
always
have to make
advise
the best.
for people not to do that.
Right.
Not everybody listens, but they did. They were, they had like a couple weeks left in their rental. And I'm like, you can't go in there. It's a disaster in there. And I don't want this to be your first memory of your new house.
Right.
Give me a couple days and I will get this cleaned up for you. So we had to get a trash hauler to get rid of a ton of trash there. And then we hired a cleaner. I also got a painter to patch all these holes.
Wow.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we're still friends with them to this day.
Thank
And
goodness.
thank
You
goodness.
have to make it like so much better. That's the number one thing they're going to remember.
Right.
How they
right.
felt when they first got their keys. Right?
So anyhow, yeah. I don't know how I got on that tangent, but that was our first experience was not the best. And our realtors could have stepped it up big time and they didn't.
For sure. I remember one of their names. It just popped in my head out of nowhere.
Anna Kimball.
Oh,
Is that the one?
I think so. Yeah.
It popped in my head. Well, she's not in the business anymore,
I
so
don't
who
think
cares?
so, yeah.
I don't think she lives in California.
I don't think so either. So speaking of Santa Clarita and real estate and local SCV news, wow. So from a real estate perspective, I want to just kind of touch on this, but there was a gang-related shooting. What was that? Saturday morning, broad daylight, and it was at over by a pool, an apartment complex in Newhall. And geez, like when stuff like this happens in our city, it's very sad and alarming, right? But from a real estate perspective, how does this affect interest in home sales in that area? Do you usually steer your buyers away from certain areas? Or like if a buyer asks you like, hey, should I avoid this area? Is it okay to live here? Like, what do you normally say?
So I never make decisions for our clients.
Absolutely.
And I tell our clients this, right? But I do help. The way that I work is by education. And we're the experts of Santa Clarita.
Right.
It's our job to point this stuff out.
Yeah, to
right?
share this information
To
with
share
them.
this information. So they need to know, like, if you know that there's Section 8 in that neighborhood and there's a lot of crime in that neighborhood, as an agent, you got to disclose it, right? So the only reason I even show property in that area, it's like off of like Leonard Tree or, you know, the condos
Dockweiler.
off of Dockweiler at the very top. Some of them have really nice views and they're affordable. They're like 425 grand. It's a good starter unit. They have garages, right? So a lot of our clients that don't know the area, they ask to see those properties. So I always, the first time I go out with a client, I always show them what they want to see.
Right.
Because we're on a date, right? And I'm trying to learn what their interests are, right? Who you be with. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
So I'm trying to learn, you know.
Trying to ask them what their sign is too.
I'm trying to learn about them, right? But I always tell them in that area, look, this would make maybe a good investment as a rental later in life, but this isn't the best area. Like there's other areas that you could purchase that are nicer,
Right.
less crime. It's not as congested. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's a good investment for you guys. But hey, if you like it, I'll write the offer up, right?
Right.
And, you know, I talked to a client actually that I showed property there to last year because they wanted to see it. And I told them that I wasn't happy with that area. Thank goodness I did. Imagine them living there because I think they're coming up on their 1 year anniversary. Imagine them living there and then they have a shooting there.
Yeah, she's pregnant right now too. So.
And she's pregnant right now.
Yeah, it's really sad all around that something like that would even happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so for people that don't know, I don't know a ton about it. I do know one of the kids that got killed was 16. And it was 10:50 in the morning, you guys.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's broad daylight. There was innocent kids that have nothing to do with this, like small kids
Yeah.
that were in the jacuzzi. So if you could imagine, these guys are in a community pool, two guys sitting down. I don't know this because I'm not a reporter, but I'm just telling you what I've heard in Santa Clarita, that they were gang related, right? And a rival gang, I guess, poked their hand and their gun through the fence of this community pool and shot these guys multiple times, and they both died.
That's terrible.
And that's 10:50. But the good part is, and I don't know this to be true either, these are all rumors that we're hearing, right? I heard that there was a good Samaritan. Like everybody called the police. A lot of people called the police right away, and the police responded. Thank you to law enforcement responding so quickly. But that somebody followed these people.
Yeah, the suspects were apprehended. So,
but that it's just a civilian standing by followed them and was calling saying to the police, hey, they're fleeing here. And they caught them at Stater Brothers in Canyon Country
that's so crazy.
in the parking lot. Thank God they didn't have a shootout with the police officers.
Thank goodness nobody else was hurt in addition to that. I mean,
right? Which this is a chance to talk about a controversial subject.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it because I think people shy away from all this controversy, but like this is something to really think about. And I'm just going to ask everybody's opinion on this. So every city has to have affordable housing.
Right.
It's the law.
Right.
Okay. You have to provide so much affordable housing in the city. In Santa Clarita, we really have two big Section 8 neighborhoods. This is one of them. Okay. It's off of Valle de Oro and Newhall in the city of Newhall. Right. And then another one's Jake's Way in Canyon Country. And I tell our clients this so that they know when they're buying a house anywhere around there, hey, I understand this house in like Fair Oaks is $1 million. Just, you know, right over the train tracks, there's a lot of theft and whatnot. Now, this Valle de Oro, there's also a lot of people talk and they say there's a lot of sex trafficking in there.
That's awful.
Right? There's young girls in there. There's like they would have like this is just from what I hear on the streets, right? From people that talk, that they have that there and it's known and they try to bust these guys. They do their best, right? But knowing that, how do you guys feel about Section 8 in your neighborhood? Because you have one side of the fence that says, hey, poor people are getting priced out of living in California.
Right.
There's nowhere for us to live. We can't afford it, right? But then on the other side of that, you have homeowners that are saying, I don't want Section 8 in my neighborhood. It's going to bring the wrong type of people to my neighborhood.
Right.
I understand both arguments. Now, is this a product of Section 8? Possibly. Is it a coincidence that we have the most crime in the two areas that we have Section 8 in Santa Clarita? Possibly. It's not for me to decide, but what we've done as a city, and it's actually pretty clever, but some other groups might think that's really despicable. I wonder how people feel about this. Because you have to have a requirement of affordable housing, Santa Clarita's, most of our affordable housing is in the 55 and over communities. So even though we have we make our quota, it's done with 55 and over who the likelihood of having like more crime, like a 60-year-old I don't think is going to break into a car and steal a radio. Or do they do that anymore? Do people steal radios?
Still radios?
I don't know.
Are we in 86?
Remember you used to pull out the radio? Remember that? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Totally dated yourself.
Totally dated. I'm old. So anyhow, I'd love to hear what people think about that because I get the whole, hey, you got to stand up for people that need affordable housing. But I also get like, hey, we got kids that live in this neighborhood. Like we want it safe. We want our neighborhood safe. So what's the solution? What do you think?
Yeah. Drop a comment. Answer Chris's idea. And just, I mean, it's something to talk about.
I know, but do you have any insight on this or you want to pass on this subject?
I think I'm going to keep it moving right now, and we're going to keep moving with the show.
No problem.
Yeah, if that's okay, because we are starting to run out of time, and we have some other things that we need to talk about. So your elite networking meeting, how did that go?
It went amazing. I wasn't there today. So I got back. I got back late last night from the trip. Hey, Mahmoud's with us. Hey, Mahmoud.
Hey, Mahmoud.
So affordable housing. I got to hear about his insight later. Maybe he wants to drop a comment.
Yes, drop a comment.
So I got back late last night.
I know.
And I'm dead. You know, I was in meetings for 2 straight days nonstop. So I didn't make it today. My priority was a show today.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Next week, we can get insight on your elite networking meeting. Sorry I brought that up. I totally forgot you didn't make it. I had such a busy morning, too.
Oh, Janan's with us, too.
Hey, Janan.
Hey, Janan.
Thanks for joining us. We had so much fun with you on the weekend.
It was a great time.
Yes. So our North Hollywood fourplex listing that was in escrow, unfortunately, just fell out. We were dealing with ups and downs with that particular one. Right now, we have a lot of interest in it, though. Did you want to talk a little bit about the fourplex?
Sure, of course. So let's just get the negative out of the way real quick. It's in a rent control area.
Right.
Right. So you can't raise the rents more than like $10 a year. But 2 of the rents are market rents, and then 2 are longtime tenants. But it's an amazing property. It's a fourplex. 3 of the units have been completely remodeled. Roof is about 19 years old. The sewer's been replaced. Like so many upgrades. The lady spent like $100,000 last year just upgrading the units.
Nice.
Just because she wants to.
Yes.
For her tenants.
She has pride in ownership.
She has so much pride in ownership, right? But the huge advantage of this property, one, it's in the NoHo district.
Right.
Like it's more than up and coming. It's already here.
Right.
Like it's a highly desirable area, but it's in an opportunity zone. So anybody looking that needs to do a 1031 exchange, this is your shot. Like this is the property. That's what really benefits the most.
Right.
Like it's going to benefit. Like if me and you wanted to buy this place, right? It's a good investment from like 10 years from now.
Right.
But if we had, a property or a business or something that we just sold and we need a tax shelter, this is it. Like if you could sell this property, if you buy it in an opportunity zone, you guys check this out with your tax specialist. But if you buy in an opportunity zone and you hold onto the property for 10 years, when you go to sell that property, you pay 0 capital gains tax on that.
Wow, that's huge.
That's humongous. So that's who's going to benefit the most from this property. Hopefully that's who buys it.
Right, an investor.
An investor.
As far as the market forecast goes, how is the market heading into spring?
Well, even though I didn't go to the meeting today, I'm still in touch with all my peeps, right?
Yes, for sure.
And we're already receiving multiple offers on properties. This one's different. It's a different market. That's an investor market. But for first-time home buyers, people are out already. They're already looking at property. They're already making offers. I'm going to follow up with an agent today. We made an offer over the weekend with a new buyer. First time out too.
Nice.
Young guy too, which is I love to see that. I love to see that. Probably my guess is under 30 years old, and he's buying his first place. Anyhow, we had multiple offers, and it's a $700,000 property. And that's where you see a lot of properties. A lot of home buyers are in that price range.
That's like first time home buyer.
Isn't that crazy though? 700,000 is the new first time home buyer price range.
That's crazy.
Remember when it was like 250? That's how long we've been in this business.
250.
Yeah, because people used to buy condos their first property.
Yes.
And then like this new home buyer, first time home buyer, they're skipping that step. And I think this is a direct correlation from COVID, from being locked down.
Space.
They want that backyard.
Yes.
Like, what if I get locked down again? I think people have that in the back of their mind.
Right.
So they're looking for, they're going to make that sacrifice, But to me, it's scary. I'm more scared for like these people than they are, right? A lot of people have lived at home to save this money to buy a place, and they're jumping right into like $5,000 a month on a mortgage payment.
I mean, that's the new norm.
But, so I want to talk about this with our client, because here's the new norm. Single guy is buying this place.
Right.
He's young, doesn't have a family yet, right? He's like, it's a 3-bedroom. One of the master bedrooms by itself. He's like, I could rent out the other 2 rooms for easily $1,000 a piece, right? And he's like, and this property, he's looking for a property that has potential to build an ADU in the back.
Oh, perfect.
He goes, I'll build the ADU in the back for like $50,000. I'll end up staying in the ADU and I'll rent out the whole house.
There you go.
And now it's going to pay for itself. So you have to be a little bit more sophisticated, I think, nowadays to make it work.
Think outside of the box. You're not just buying it for yourself to live in.
There's still
to
opportunity.
be able to afford it.
Exactly. There's still opportunity out there. So I love to, people adapt. People adapt. So it's pretty exciting. It's fun to see. I think the market has already heated up.
Right.
And I'm interested to see what the feds are going to do. They're supposed to be raising the rates again. They were talking about 0.5%, but now we have banks failing. We really don't know.
There's so much going on. There's so many moving parts in our industry, whether it's the interest rates, the time of year. It's really interesting to see what's going to happen. I don't feel like this rain has really affected any business in any way. People still going out there roughing it through the rain just so they could get the house that they want.
Yes.
For sure.
We're seeing it.
Oh, so Mahmoud said they raised 0.25% just now.
While we're on the show.
So there you go.
Thanks, Mahmoud.
Thanks for the update.
Update right at the moment.
Oh my goodness. So
he says it sounds like they're not going to raise next time. So and the way he's figuring that out is immediately after the feds come out with what they're going to do, Jerome Powell comes out with what he's going to do. They're already dissecting exactly what he said to figure out.
So they know what's going to happen.
So they know what's going to happen next time, right? So the fact that he only raised it 1/4, and if the language is he's not going to raise it again, I would expect, and you're hearing it here first, I would expect tomorrow that the rates for consumers will drop. Even though the rates went up 1/4,
right?
I bet you the rates come down tomorrow.
Lock in your rates, everybody.
Which is going to bring more buyers to the table, right?
Yes.
So it's just another reason for it to heat up this spring.
Absolutely. So looking ahead to next week, Chris has a very busy schedule. So he is going to be hosting, he's going to be leading a talk at the Men of Tomorrow over at Golden Valley High School.
So I found this out last night.
Yes. So he was preparing late in the night.
I was up till 3 a.m. this morning.
Yes.
So I found out last night that the speaker that was supposed to be there for our men, it's a mentorship program at Golden Valley. It's called Men of Tomorrow. It's made up of juniors and seniors, right? They asked me to speak tomorrow. So I got an hour to talk.
Oh, you'll do fine.
You got that.
Chris, an hour? You got this.
Yeah, but I have to make it beneficial to the men,
sure.
right? So I was working on it last night. I think I'm about 1/3 of the way through of what I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to give them a chance to, hey, what do you want to hear about?
Right.
You want to hear about how I got to where I'm at, or do you just want to hear about me, representing buyers and sellers and doing loans?
Right.
So I'll let the men decide what they want to do, what they want to hear.
Awesome. That should be fun. I can't wait to hear about it. And then you also have a Bridge to Home meeting. So what's on the agenda for Bridge to Home?
So I'm excited about this because it's my first live meeting. I've done 2 Zoom meetings, and we're way over on the show, so I'm going to wrap this up quick. I got to meet a board member who's an attorney in Sacramento.
Oh, cool.
For Bridge to Home. I didn't even have a chance to talk about it. We'll talk about it in the next show.
Okay.
But I get to meet all these people, more people in person for the first time. So I'm excited about that.
Well, I'm super excited because this Friday we have PicoCon at our kids' school, and it's going to be like Comic-Con, but like at their school. So we're going to go dressed up like Pokemon. So that should be fun. And then we have a bunch of other fun things planned for the weekend, which we can't really get to because we're running out of time. But everyone, thank you so much for.
Let's give one quick shout out.
Oh, shout out.
I want to thank our friends. They know who they are. I don't want to say their names because I don't want to throw them on. I don't want people hitting them up.
Oh, yeah.
But we got hooked up on what today?
Friends and family discount. We booked our California Adventure Hotel for next week. Thank you so much. We love you guys. Thank you. Any little bit helps. It is expensive to stay at the Grand Californian. And
they call it the Grand California because they say it's a grand to stay there every night.
It pretty much is. So they hooked us up with the friends and family discount. Thank you. That was huge. I was a little stressed out searching to try to find the best rate. But yes, thank you for that. And then as a huge reminder, which we will be sending out on social media, we are moving the podcast next week only to Tuesday at 1:00. So make sure you tune in then. Mark your calendars now. Instead of Wednesday at noon, we will be on live on Tuesday at 1. The kids are on spring break, so we're modifying our schedule a little bit, and maybe they'll make guest appearances with us.
They might be with us.
So be sure to check us out here next week, Tuesday, 1:00, Facebook Live, R&R. Chris and I have loved having you all here with us. Thank you so much for joining us. That is going to be our show today. Thank you for hanging out with us on R&R, Relationships and Real Estate. We hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.